Hello, my sunrays. Welcome back. So glad to have you. Today I'll be discussing my transition out of veganism. So my journey started about 7 years ago when I became vegetarian, or now it'll be 8 years ago that I became vegetarian. Slowly progressing from vegetarian to raw vegan to dabbling with breatharianism to finally veganism, and being and staying vegan for about 7 years. It wasn't until the beginning of 2020 that I decided that it was time and that I was ready to eat meat again. I had a very strange craving, and I never craved ever beef. But this time around it was different. I did crave beef. And not only was being vegan becoming more hard because it felt more like an obsession rather than a health-driven motivation, it was the same thing that I had years ago with alcohol. There was a time in my life where I stayed dry for 4 years because the way that I approached alcohol in the past was for escapism and for numbingness. So I decided not to drink. And at 4 years, that's when I decided that me not drinking alcohol was actually now a restraint in my brain and in my heart saying I'm not allowed to have alcohol, so I'm not going to drink it. So now the alcohol again was taking over, but in a different way. So me drinking alcohol was a symbol to my mind and my body that this thing doesn't have control over me, and it is okay to have a sip every once in a while when I choose to. When I decided to eat meat, that wasn't necessarily it. My dietary restriction from meat was to cleanse my body, because at the time I decided to go vegan was also the time that I got really sick. So I totally believe that whole foods and vegetables and fruits are really healing for the body, super healing. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that plants and fruits is where it's at. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. Still to this day, about 80% of my diet is still fruits and vegetables and grains and legumes. And my point is, it was time for the shift, and I decided to do it. I was in meditation, and I asked, why am I craving meat? And I realized at that point that I am the animal. I am, I am part of all of that beingness that God, universe has created. And at that moment, I felt I found such a peace in dying, like myself dying. Like, I felt that if that cow needed me to live, then I would die, essentially, for it. And vice versa. And that it's a cycle of life that I am honoring and respecting as I consume it. I'm very conscious when I do. And it is a sacred time for me when I eat, every time. That doesn't mean that I agree with, the mass slaughtering of animal and the overconsumption of animal that we do have in our culture. But this video is not about that. The video is about me transitioning out of veganism. So I do believe that the whole food plant-based diet did serve me and did play its role in my healing. And now I'm in a space where meat every once in a while is what I'm going to that was what I choose to do. And that's just it. It's connected me a little bit more with, I don't know, animals. That's all I have to say really about it. I do feel more full, where I can actually go longer without eating. I didn't have really any issues digesting beef. I know a lot of times people say that like you get stomach aches or there's a transition time. My stomach just digested it like just fine. Again, I don't eat meat all the time. but when I do choose to eat meat, I mean, it's very satisfying. And like I said, it's a sacred moment for me. You know, in the past, I feel like my body was so delicate that if I were to eat like heavy meats, cheeses, any type of something like that, my face would really, really break out. That was one of the symptoms and signs of like my face breaking out and like me feeling really lethargic. Today, like I still don't go overboard with the cheeses and the meats. I don't want to say that. I mean, it's really hard to describe because I don't want to say like I don't want to condone like eat meat if that's not what your body needs and if that's not where you are in your path. Like I definitely think and feel that there is a time where people, you know, need to take that time to really tune in and maybe just do a fasting or take a break or whatever. So I'm not trying to give any advice. I just wanted to share that with my viewers because I know that a lot of you that have been following me for so long have known me as Bree the vegan, or you know. So I just kind of wanted to update you on that transition in my life. So when you see me out, or if you see me out, you know, and you see me eating a piece of meat, that you're not like totally shocked or feel, you know, deceived or anything like that. So if you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask me. This is obviously a place of no judgment. So if you still are vegan, that's great and good for you. I support you because that's your choice. That's your path. But I'm also expecting criticism and judgment because sometimes people are like that. Humans are like that. So putting the little beautiful symbols of love and light out there now so that there is a little, I don't get too much backlash. But yeah, if you guys have like questions or anything, let me know. I'd be happy to connect with you guys and answer more questions if that's something you want to know more about. So know that it was a deeply, I didn't just go right into eating meat. I like took my time. I meditated on it. I asked my ancestors, I asked my guides. Like it was a straight out, like it was days, I would say up to a week, that it took me to finally be able to be okay with that decision, because for so long I was against it. So that was a lesson in itself, to kind of honoring the journey and letting it take you to some places that are uncomfortable, even to places that you once before disagreed with. Because as you're going, as you're learning, you know, you're being molded and you're being guided. And right now I'm just listening, or at this point I'm just listening. It's all I can do, in surrendering and honoring and ultimately respecting. Please visit soulivingco.com if you are ready to take your journey further when it comes to mastering, honoring your gifts, developing more self-confidence and connection to divine spirit. I am more than happy to help and be that guide. If you are drawn and called to do so, you may visit soulivingco.com. Sending you lots of love and lots of light. Until next time.